Good morning, it's Corrine. I decided to show you my bird feeder. I get a lot of black-capped chickadees here, so I decided to film from this angle. I find them to be kind of relaxing, and I want to show you my boy here, and he finds them kind of relaxing too. Anyway, so me and my kitty will look at the birds. But so I wanted to talk today a bit about codependency some more. The problem with the INFJ and INFP and empath, both of whom tend to be empaths, is that disease of codependency. I haven't had a video in a while, mostly, like I said, because I really only do it when I have something to say. And also I've just been spending this time myself really working on healing. So, you know, and it seems to be working quite well. And so I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've personally been working on. Like I told you last time, I've decided to surround myself with positive people. I haven't been able to go every week to the groups that I've wanted to go to just because, you know, something gets in the way, and that's okay. But I'm really working towards what I want to work towards, which is being healthy as an INFJ and empath. And what I see as being healthy is not being codependent. Now, just to come back to what is a codependent is somebody who gives and gives and gives until they're unhealthy. And it's a disease that exists mostly among empaths or highly sensitive people because if you're an INFJ, you're very often an empath because you feel other people's energy and you want to harmonize that energy. You want to make it feel better. And if you're an INFP, you have very strong emotions yourself, and so you relate very well to other people's strong emotions. And so you want to do the same thing. You want to harmonize. If you feel negative energy, your default is to try to harmonize that energy. And when you get to the point of being codependent is when you just automatically harmonize. You just harmonize. You just keep trying to turn that negative energy positive, and it's like automatic. And what happens is we deplete our own energy. And when we deplete our own energy, we get, first of all, we get anxiety. And then if we keep depleting, we get depression. And if depression gets really bad, then we could be suicidal. I mean, codependency is a very dangerous disease for INFJs, INFPs, who often are highly sensitive people or empaths. So, what is the cure? That's always the question. I think the first thing to do is to be aware. You have to be conscious of what you're doing. You have to be conscious that every time somebody comes into your energy space, it is not your responsibility to make them feel better. You are not responsible for their energy. Now, you always have to kind of figure out when to use your power and when not to, because what our power to feel the energy and to harmonize, that is a gift. That is a natural gift. It is a power. But you know what? It's our power. It's nobody else's. We need to make the choice when to use it and when not to. Now, think about it. And one reason why INFJs and INFPs are so afraid of not using their power is because they think they're going to turn narcissists. They think they're going to be a bad person if, or a selfish person. I guess I shouldn't say bad because I don't want to say that all narcissists are bad. Narcissists are people who had a lot of trauma when they were young, and they are just the opposite of codependents. They are the people who take and take and take and take because they think They believe in it's their only way of survival. And usually narcissists have a horrible trauma very early in their life. So we shouldn't necessarily think badly of narcissists. I think we should have some sympathy for narcissists, but codependents should not try to fix narcissists. I mean, you've got to stay away from their aura, deal with narcissists as much as you need to, because they love codependence. They will take and take and take and take. And so, be aware if you're in the presence of a narcissist. Very often people who have codependency grew up in a family of origin with a narcissist. That's not unusual. Although I think it's also possible to still be codependent even without growing up with a narcissist because when you think about it, our entire society is they value narcissism. They value people making a lot of money and taking and taking and taking. And that's not necessarily a good thing. And also when you think about it, the problem with codependence is that feeling of feeling inferior, of not good enough, and which is why they keep giving and giving and giving. And when you look at our society, when you look at media, when you look at how we are bombarded by advertisements on a daily basis that are telling us we need to buy a product because we're not good enough, we have to be consciously aware of all this stuff that's coming at us, and just see it for what it is, and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, I have to go out and buy this product. Or, every time you come into a energy situation with a narcissist, or even not with a narcissist, but just somebody who's giving off negative energy, to feel like you have to solve their problem. You don't. That is one of the number one things that I think empaths, INFJs, INFPs need to realize. It's not your responsibility to solve other people's emotional problems. Now, you can make the choice. You can make the choice. I mean, if somebody comes into your energy, even if you're depleted, if they're dealing with a life-shattering moment, like if somebody comes in, just found out somebody close to them died, even if you are depleted, it does make sense to sit there and be with that person and help that person, but the thing is, you need to make the conscious choice of that. And in those situations, you're not going to be in that many situations like that. So in those situations, yeah, that's fine. But if somebody comes into your energy space and that person just had a bad day and they're just coming in and dumping all over you, you can make the choice to get out of that space. I mean, your natural inclination is to just sit there and take it all and try to, do your little chameleon effect and try to make that person feel better. But that's not your responsibility. You have to realize, that person is sucking out your energy, especially now. Again, you can make the choice. You don't have to, you can make that person feel better. And depending on your own energy, it might actually make sense to make that person feel better. For example, if you have already built up yourself, if you already have enough positive energy in yourself, in fact, have overflowing positive energy with you, if your cup is full and overflowing, you can give the overflowing part of your cup, that overflowing positive energy, you can choose to give that to that person. And you actually can feel better in those situations. But if you're drained and that person comes in and just dumps all over you, you don't have to take it. You can make an excuse and get out of that energy situation. And it's okay. And in fact, it's good for that other person because, if that person is not dealing with a life-shattering moment, they should learn to deal with their own energy. They need to learn how to deal with their own negative emotions. It's not your job to deal with their negative emotions because it's just going to deplete all your positive energy eventually. And that is what causes the codependency, it's the codependency that causes the need to deplete the energy, which causes the anxiety, which causes the depression. So make that choice. So I would say the number one thing that INFJ, INFP empaths need to do is be conscious of what's going on. Be conscious of the energy coming and going. And be conscious of how much positive energy they already have in their self and whether or not it makes sense for you to give that energy away or not. And how do we build up our energy? Well, we build up our energy, first of all, by not depleting it every other second. And second of all, we build up our energy by, look at this little chickadee. He's trying to get in through the plastic. It's not really working. Anyway, we build up our energy by focusing on ourself, by starting to do things for ourselves. So, for example, even if you're doing something for someone else, like say you have a job and the job seemingly seems to be doing it for, you're doing something for other people, but why don't you pull that focus back to yourself? You're doing this for yourself because you want to do a good job for you. If you're driving somebody somewhere, it seems like you're doing something for them, but go, I'd like to have a nice drive. If you're painting somebody else's room, do it because you like to paint, don't keep putting the focus on other people. If you pull the focus back to yourself, you'll be, first of all, taking care of your inner child. You won't be neglecting your inner child, and you'll be taking care of yourself, and you'll be filling yourself up with positive energy. I know this feels strange at first because you feel like you're being selfish, but you're not being selfish. You think of it as being self-full. And all this stuff is going on in your mind anyway. You don't have to voice this opinion to anybody else. You don't have to tell people, hey, I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing it for you. You just need to, think in your mind, I'm doing this for me. And hey, if it benefits someone else, great. Like if you're making dinner for your kids, think, hey, I just want to relax and cook a little bit. And if it benefits my kids, well, then great. So that's something to think about. Another thing that I've started doing personally myself is when I'm lucky enough to be self-employed, so I'm in charge of my own time. If you're an INFP or Empath or INFJ, I would really urge you to be self-employed if you can, because it really does help you with your healing, just having that freedom of time. But what I do with my freedom of time, or what I've really started to do, was I've started to do these 15-minute rotations where between my doing and my being. So what I mean by that is, like, if I have a certain, list of things to do for the day, I will have 15 minutes of doing. And in my doing, I will tell myself I'm doing this for me. I'll find a way to twist it around to put the focus back on me, because I'm going to feel less stressed if I get this done. So I'm doing this for me, and then after 15 minutes, I always have 15 minutes of being, and being can be anything that my authentic self wants to do right at that moment, anything my inner child wants to do. So if my inner child wants to watch a movie on Netflix for 15 minutes, or wants to read a book, or wants to meditate, or wants, whatever. Because what I'm doing in those moments is I'm filling myself up. I'm filling up my positive energy for 15 minutes. And then when I do my 15 minutes of doing is very often when I start to deplete that energy again. Although if I keep the focus on myself, not that I'm giving away my energy, that I'm building up my energy. If I keep my focus on myself, I really don't deplete it as much. See, when I used to spend the whole day just doing seemingly things for other people, which was part of my codependency disease, I could get to 4 or 5 o'clock. I'd be exhausted. And when I do my 15-minute rotation of doing and being, I've just realized I can go till 11 o'clock at night and be completely fine. And it's a really funny situation. I think it's all about being aware of energy and being aware of your own positive energy, bringing that focus back to yourself. being conscious of when you use your energy and when you don't, and not feeling guilty about not giving away positive energy to everybody you come in contact with. If you are get upset about small criticism, if you worry about making anybody angry, you probably are codependent. I think it's just a very common disease amongst INFJs and INFPs. So, and two of the words that you need to learn are two of the most beautiful words in the world, which are "so what." I know it's going to feel weird at first, but "so what" is wonderful, because if somebody comes into your energy space and wants to dump their bad day all over you, and you make an excuse to sort of get out of that space, your normal thing is to feel guilty about it. Your normal thing is to feel guilty that you didn't solve their emotional problems. But you have to start using the words "so what." So what? They need to learn how to deal with their own emotional problems. Their emotional problems are not your responsibility. As long as they're not having a life-shattering moment, you know what? They're going to be fine. And if you think your job is to take care of everybody's little tiny hurts your entire life, even if it's your children, I know that's one of the hardest things to do. You can still love your children and still allow them to take care of their own small emotional problems. Obviously if they're big ones, you want to sit there and be there for them. But for the little things, they in a way, you're not really doing them a favor if you run around and make something nice for them, and if you're there every moment that they have a little problem, you're actually not doing them favors, because they have to learn how to use their own inner energy to help themselves. So, I think that's about all I wanted to say. So I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you have a wonderful day.